Hello, everyone. I see we have Grimboy and my cousin Mike waiting in the chat area. Thanks for joining for the stream. Uh, it was like 9:30 tonight. And go, oh no, I've got to set up for stream. Totally. Saturdays are so chaotic for me. I almost forgot about the stream tonight. Then I happened to see the time. I go, oh, I got to get going. All right, so anyone have any recommendations for monsters tonight and exposing them? Hey, Vandari, how you doing? Thanks for joining. I finally have my office back, so hopefully the sound is a little better in here. I've got some curtains up to dampen the sound. I need to get a couple more because I have a couple open windows that are reflecting sound, but hopefully it sounds good. So, let's see what happens there. Let's see here, Grimboy, how about the Bulazao? JoMath1729, hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining the live stream tonight. It's Mordenkainen's. All right, let's take a look there. Let me swap over to the live scene. And let's start taking a look at some monsters. Get right into it. All right, let's see here. I need Mordenkainen's because we have a request from Grimboy. Let's see here. There we go. Perfect. And we'll swap that over to the side. Shrink it down a little bit, as always, so you can see more of the tool rather than the book itself. And let's see here. Mormon Maidens. It's pronounced Bulazao. Bulazao? Kyle Redboss, hi. Thanks for joining the live stream. Good to see you. There's someone new here. That's great. Let's see here. So, searching for the Bulazao. Uh, 131, perfect. Okay, so it's probably 132. Yep, sure enough. We have the Armonite and this goat-looking thing, the Bulazao. I know. I'm sorry, Grim. I'm horrible with pronunciations, and hopefully I'm getting it right. I know you can't help me out, and I'm sure it might be a little frustrating because I'm pronouncing it terribly, but let's not worry about that. I'll just say the monsters. I'll butcher the name once, and then we will continue on just calling it a fiend or something, just so that's we don't have to worry about too much about that. All right, so we have the Bulazao? Or Bo? Bulazao, sure. Let's go with that for now. I'll check in with chat in a little bit. A medium fiend with, let's see here, 14 AC. They're medium, so we don't have to worry about changing the size, and it only affects the hit dice anyways. With 78 and a total of 17 Constitution. We don't really probably need to worry about Wisdom or Charisma. Those are really only in there for the Psychic Defense or Fiendish Blessing, and I'm sure this fiend doesn't have that. And we are expecting it to be a CR3. It's nothing too terrible. Okay, so Bulazao. Hopefully I pronounced it right. Excuse me. All right, we have our... Oh, I'm missing one thing. Forgot to put my highlighter on so you can track my mouse if you need to. So the Bulazao, we have all the base stats out of the way for it. Now let's take a look at the skills area. And for this fiend, we have Cold, Fire, and Lightning. And we do have 3 conditions here. These are pretty common types of magic here. So we can actually throw resistances, the damage resistances in. So we'll go ahead and throw that in, and our monster is going to get a 2 times the hit point bonus because of its low CR rating. On top of that, we also have damage immunities to poison, but because it's only 1 condition, we're going to skip damage immunities. But because of how low the CR is for this monster, even if we were to add immunities, it's the same bonus, luckily. So we don't have to worry about that. The Bulazao is getting +2 or 2 times the hit points. JoMath. Well, everyone eating dinner while watching. I'm eating breakfast, watching this live. You must be where? You must be somewhere over like near the east coast of Asia or something to be hitting it up at like that early in the morning. These guys are pretty neat. They are minions for Baphomet. I'm using them for a villain that runs a cult of Baphomet. Nice, Grimboy. Awesome. Sounds fantastic. All right, moving on from our skills area, since all we really care about are the resistances and immunities, or if there were saves as well, we're going to move down into the monster trait here and see about Rotting Presence, Standing Leap, and Sure-Footed. So Rotting Presence, what are we doing with this one here? When any creature that isn't a demon starts within 30 feet or more of Bulezau, that creature must succeed on a con save or take 1d6 necrotic damage plus 1 necrotic damage for each Bulezau within 30 feet of it. Alright. So this is going to be similar to the Heated Body monster tree. We can use that there because Heated Body is an AoE damage, area of effect damage, and it's just constantly pulsating from the monster. We can do the same thing here, and in theory, we would only have the one fiend here. So at the moment, this is only giving off roughly 3.5 effective or 3.5 damage per round. So we're just going to add that in for now and see if we need to increase that. If the idea is that maybe this Bulezau has more than one with it, based on D&D Beyond pronunciation. Oh, yeah, I should probably look that up. You know what? Hold on a minute. Let me see something here. Let me turn up my volume here. Volume, where are you hiding? There you are. Oh, that's all the way up. Let's turn that down a bit. Bulezau. Okay. That's what I got too. Cool. I totally forgot to check for that. Bulezau. Cool. Now that I have that corrected. Thank you, Vanderi. If I could give you inspiration, I would totally do that as a DM. Ask my cousin Mike, he knows. Whenever helping the DM out, my players get inspiration, even if it is to their detriment as a player. All right, so Rotting Presence at the moment is only going to be giving us about 3 damage per round. But as we see here for the Rider, we can get +1 more damage for every other Bulezau that is in the area. But for the time being, we're only considering 1 at the moment because, well, that's just what we're going to go with. After that, we also have Standing Leap, and this just lets the Fiend jump longer distances, and this will have no effect. As well as the next trait as well, the Sure-Footed. This gives advantage on strength and dex saves to not be knocked prone. Great for the monster and random spots in battle when someone might actually be trying to knock it prone, but, you know, we're going to have to skip it for now, and we'll just move down into the barbed tail action that it has. And with that, we will shift over into the combat workspace area here, and we see that our Bulezau has a +4 to hit, so we'll go ahead and switch that over here from 3 to 4. And then finally we have, let's see, 8.5 points of piercing damage plus a Rider here. And let's see what that does. So first off, in attack number 1, we're doing 8.5 plus, let's see here, Constitution save or against disease or become poisoned until the disease ends. While poisoned this way, the target sports festering boils, coughs up flies, blah, blah, blah. Okay. On a successful save, the disease ends. On a failed save, the target's hit point maximum is reduced by 4, so 4.5. The target dies if the hit point maximum is reduced by 0. All right. So the way this is going, we're going to be expecting the target to constantly fail their save. So if anything, we can definitely give it 4.5 effective damage as well because it's constantly dropping the target's hit points every round in theory. So at the moment, the Bulezau is doing about 13 points of damage, including the hit point maximum that it reduces with every failed check on the target. So let's see what happens here. We're going to say for the time being, well, let's see here. 3 rounds of combat. It hits, we got to think about this a little bit more actually. 3 rounds of combat. So the first round of combat, I'm going to take this off of this and give it its own thing here. So attack number 2 will be the hit point maximum that it does. And we're going to suggest that every time it hits, a target is getting... oh, it's every day. Oh, thank you. Oh, geez, I almost completely messed that up. So yes, it is only technically 4.5 for that day. Okay, so then we do it once. All right. So then, yeah, it's only 13. Good catch, Grimboy. Inspiration to you as well. Oh, I would have totally missed that. Like I totally missed with the spectator. Oh man, I can't believe I messed that one up. All right, so then 13 times 3. We're looking at 39 points of damage. And surprisingly enough, as we see in the chart here, the Bulezau does reach CR3, but it's reaching it in the way that makes this a tank rather than a damage dealer. But the thing is it's more of a versatile tank. So we have a DCR of 3 and an OCR of 2. Not a lot of damage coming from this. So this isn't really going to be your upfront kind of monster here. This monster is playing games and tricks. Just like how you're using it, Grimboy. This is a perfect way to use this monster. Don't let it really get into battle, although it does have the hit points to do it. As we see here, in this section here, good effective hit points, especially with the resistances. So if it needs to be a tank, it certainly can be a tank. It's going to be doing some damage, but not a lot. So this monster is definitely going to need support as well. Yeah, you may remake the save every 24 hours. Yeah, so until that disease is wiped clean, then, you know, then they would take another 4.5 maximum damage. So good catch, Grimboy. Thank you for that. Vandera, again, thank you for the D&D Beyond pronunciation. That helped out a load as well. So the way it looks, if there's more of these Bulezaus, then we would see a little bit more damage. Let's see, if there were 2, the 1 would be giving off 4 DPR, and it doesn't really impact the DC or the OCR really at all. So it's more just for holding the line, and it's not even that this is a good tanky. You know, it's a good frontline monster. Not a lot of melee support, but it's even rated, which is what we were looking for. So let me take a note of that. And if you have any more recommendations, go ahead and throw them in chat, and let's get the next monster going while I'm taking my notes here. Joe Math. Yep, that sometimes happens. What happens with high attacks? With a high attack, low defense. Joe Math, when we have those, I tend to call those either strikers, glass cannons, or even snipers. It really depends, because the higher the damage goes and the lower the defenses are, you get more into like glass cannon territory, like typical wizards and whatnot. Grimboy, yeah, if you have a link for an image, I could totally pull that up and we can take a look at your homebrew monster if you'd like. You should be able to throw a link in the chat. Have you done the Aaron? Yes. No, I have not done that one yet. So Joe, going back to the question about high attack and low defense, yeah, these would be the types of monsters you would want to stick in the rear or mid-range. So, you know, like an archer or some kind of like a rogue type. Something that goes in fast, deals damage while there's a tank, you know, like the Bulezau here. The Bulezau is holding the line, and then something with a higher AC, or excuse me, a higher attack bonus or higher damage could come in and do like just burst damage and then run back while the Bulezau is holding the line. Definitely not a loner, no. I mean, you could if you wanted to drop it in real quick and then have them disengage and run away. So if it's, you know, shock trooper kind of thing, if they come in, they do some damage and then they run, you could do that with something with a higher OCR and a lower DCR. Let's see here. Oh, link won't work. Shoot. Try spacing the link out so like the dots are all separated, Grimboy. That way they're not condensed together so that YouTube doesn't see it as a link. Maybe that'll work. All right, let me take a note here for this fiend. Where is it? Oh, it's right there. There we go. All right. And we found, what was it? 3, 2, 3, even. And I don't really have anything to say about that. Okay, so the Arrhenius is basic rules, page 276. Let me take a look here. The Rakshasa, Joe, I actually have a shorts for that. It's a strange monster. My shorts for that is it has a tan background, and it's one of those I just had to kind of hand wave because of the limited magic immunities that it has. Let's see here. Okay, yes. So the Arrhenius is in the Monster Manual, page 73. All right, let me pull that up. While Grimboy, you know what, Grimboy? Email me the information. That could work as well. Oh, the Rakshasa. All right, I mean, I'll do it. Let me mess around with the Arrhenius since Vandari requested it, and then I'll show you guys the Rakshasa, because that one monster trait that it has is still a conundrum. All right, Monster Manual. Go ahead, Grimboy. I'm waiting. Let's see here. Where? Oh yeah, that's right. It was 73, so let's go to page 74 maybe. Yeah, Vandari, I think that sounds about right. All right, here is the initial thing for the Arrhenius. All right, let's see here. Bone Devil, Chain Devil. Perfect, there we go. Check the monster requests. Oh, did you fill out the form, Grimboy? I will get to that in a second here. Oh, perfect. Thank you. All right. While that's going through, let me take care of this, and then I will pull up the form. Variant Rope of Entanglement. All right. Well, let's look at the base so far for the Arrhenius here. And this one is supposed to be a CR12. So let me just throw these in here. So far we had, what was it? The and that was Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. We have the CR12 Arrhenius from the Monsters Manual. Okay. All right, let me reset the tool. And then we have the Arrhenius, a medium fiend with 18 AC from plate mail. Medium, like I said, 18 D8 hit dice, and a constitution score of 18 with an expected rating of 12. Very cool. All right, we got the basic stuff out of the way. Oh, Joe Matthew, pronouncing every D&D monster is hard enough to make a knot on the tongue. For sure, it really is. I think I do okay with some of them, but with like that last fiend, I don't know where that came from. All right, so moving down into the monster traits area, or no, excuse me, the skills area, we have 5 saves of dexterity, constitution, wisdom, no, I'm sorry, 4, and charisma. We're only missing intelligence and strength. So we have 4 saves for the Arrhenius, which will give the fiend a +2 effective AC bonus. And then, let's see here. Oh, the homebrew's also a demon. Cool, Grimboy. Awesome. We have a big demon devil fiend night going on, it seems. So, yeah. The saving throws, we have 4 saves, and then we also have damage resistances to cold, and then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks not made with silvered weapons. So, once again, I'm pretty sure you need silvered magical weapons to hit the Arrhenius. Just saying. I think that's what that means. But because there's so many, we'll give the Arrhenius an effective plus 25 hit points because of the resistances, but because the CR is so high, damage resistances become very much a moot point at this point going on here. And then we also have immunities to fire and poisoning, but because it's only 2 conditions, we'll skip over that for now. And we'll go down into the monster traits that the Aaron Yes has, which are Hellish Weapons and Magic Resistance. I can see it on the side. So, Hellish Weapons, what does it do? The attacks are magical and deal an extra 13 poison damage on a hit, included in the attack. Cool. So we can take the Hellish Weapons and just kind of throw it to the side. Don't need to worry about it right now because the attacks are all there, and it's also magical attacks, which is cool. Yes, Vanderi. Let's see here. I'm on the fence about this whole thing of magical attacks not made with silvered weapons. I don't know. I'd have to see some kind of official wording from like the D&D Twitter or something, because that's what I initially thought, magical or silvered, but the way it's worded, it seems like it's non-magical attacks. Let's see here. From non-magical attacks not made with silver weapons. Oh, maybe I am misreading this. Maybe it's one of those things of like, it's either magical attacks. Oh yeah, all right. Anyways, let's move on. So then we also have magic resistance for the for this fiend, the Aaron Yes, and actually it's a devil. Excuse me. And that one's simple enough. It's more effective AC for that. So we now are seeing our Aaron Yes going from an 18 up here where we initially put it in to a 22 for effective AC, and we're already seeing this huge bump already with this devil. So let's see, what else do we have? Well, we also have actions and we have a reaction. So while we're at the section here for traits, let's go ahead and throw the reaction for parry, giving the Aaron Yes one more effective AC, bumping it up to a 23, which is a lot of effective AC. This is gnarly. Joe Math, Hellish Weapons and Holy Weapon are similar, right? Generally speaking, yes. They're going to do, when it comes into terms of calculating the CR, it all does the same thing. In terms of the game, though, you know, if you have someone that is resistant to hellish demonic weapons or resistant to holy weapons, then it would be important. But beyond that, it's more or less the same thing. All right, so we have our reaction set for parry. Let's take a look at the actions here. And we will shift over to the workspace for that and go ahead and see that we have a multi-attack of 3 attacks. So it looks like Aaron Yes can make 3 of whatever, longsword or longbow, which is cool. And she has, or well, it's she because it looks like a she in the picture. They have +8 for the longsword and +7 for the longbow. So what is doing more damage then? It looks like the longsword's going to be doing more damage. So let's use that for now and put in the +8 to hit for the longsword. And then we'll take a look at the damage here in a second. So we have 3 attacks and the longsword will be dealing 9 because we're going to use the two-handed damage since the Aaron Yes doesn't use a shield, just has plate armor. So we'll do 9.5 there plus an additional 13 poison damage. 13.5, and we get a total of 23 damage for the longsword itself. And just for the heck of it, let's take out the longbow, and the longbow is going to be 7.5 points of damage, as well as 13.5, which gives us the 21 total, as we see here. Plus, it does have a rider for being poisoned. And the poison lasts until removed by a lesser restoration spell or similar magic. So that's handy. Definitely very handy. Let's see how this this devil works out, and we'll go from there. Vanderi, I have a gnarly elemental for you if you want another tough one to finish on tonight. Yeah, let's take a look at it later on. Let me see if I can get Grimboy's homebrew in here, and then possibly the Rakshasa as well, and we'll see about your other one. Alright, let's take a look at the multi-attack. The multi-attack, we will just use the longsword times 3 for a total of 69 points of damage. So, Aaron Yes is doing 69 points of average damage each round, and pretty much that's it. And with parry, this monster probably should be on the front lines. Let's see what happens. Well, that is fascinating. Is it 13 or 12? Oh, no, it is 12. Okay. So we have a 12. Look at that. Our Aaron Yes is evenly rated. Perfect. And if we were to use the longbow, let's just take a look at that real quick. We'll switch some stuff around. And we'll go to U3 real fast. Oh, wow. Okay, so the poisoned condition probably is adding a little bit of a rider. If anything, more than likely, I would say both attacks are even because of the poison condition on the longbow, if not a little bit more deadly because of that. And just from the numbers point, the Aaron Yes seems to be a CR11 with the longbow, especially because the attack bonus is a little less. But needless to say, with the longsword, which does the most damage just from numbers here, we're seeing an even rated devil at CR12. And for those curious, let me just take a look here. Okay, this is definitely a tank again because the OCR hasn't shifted to 12 either. So our OCR is an 11, which is a little bit less damage, but because it's that plate armor and all the effective AC, this is definitely a tank. Now, we can say tank and not a sponge or versatile tank because the hit points are so low that it starts as a DCR 9, but with all that effective AC coming from the saving throws and magic resistance and parry, it bumps it up from a 9 to a 12. So this is definitely a frontline style demon. And if you use that whip as well, probably even more fun. And what does the whip do? Some Aaron Yeses carry a rope of entanglement. When such an Aaron Yes uses its multi-attack, the Aaron Yes can use a rope in place of 2 of the attacks. Curious. Okay. So there you go. Aaron Yes. As long as you use the longsword, and I would still say the longbow probably works out just as well, this is even rated at CR12. Alright. Aaron Yes. There. It's a, what was it, DCR 12, OCR 11, found a 12, because it rounds out, it averages out to 11.5 and we round up. Even. Longbow may be less effective, but poisoned rider may increase EDPR. Alright, so there's my notes on the Aaron Yes. Alright, chat. What do we got here? Yeah, the 69, nice. Joe Math, does any condition like stunned increase AC like a monk stunning strike? That's tricky. And I say it's tricky because in the monster, let's highlight the conditions here for the Aaron Yes. The Aaron Yes has condition immunities to poisoned, but when we look in the monster, custom monster rules in the DMG, it actually legitimately says condition immunities have no effect on the monster's CR. So in cases of like the monk stunning strike, yeah, more than likely because of the conditions giving no real effects, and that's why I'm not sure about the longbow with the Aaron Yes as well, because it gives the poisoned condition. There's technically no effect, so it's about being affected. So let's see here. The Aaron Yes gets affected by poisoned, but is immune, but it doesn't change the CR. It might. I'm still working out if conditions like that. I mean, most of the conditions I've been seeing, I've been giving some kind of effective DPR, especially for spells. So Stunning Strike probably does. It's a matter of applying wherever you could find stun in a spell, and then using the effective spell damage like I've done here in this chart, which, you know, all the level 1 spells, when cast at level 1, average out to be roughly 10. And then when we look at level 2, every level 2 spell that has damage and then cast at level 2 has roughly an average of 12. But I think the idea is that they should be probably about 20 damage per round. So, Stunning Strike probably does. Vanderi basically grapples at range. What was that for, Vanderi? Grimboy, I put the stat block in the questions comment section. Cool. I will pull that up in a second. And then... Oh, wait. Sorry, DC. I'm not sure. Okay, let me move on here and pull up the form for that. Oh, come on. NTUC. Ah, perfect. Okay, thank you. Hopefully I got the name right. Oh, the whip. Okay, okay. For the Aaron, yes. The whip does grappling, grapples at range. Okay, so then that would be like a +1 effective AC. But it does sacrifice 2 attacks. I'd have to see the stat blocks for it and whatnot for the variant, but who knows? It probably works out to be just, works out fine. All right, let's take a look at Grimboy's NTUC. Let me know if I pronounced that correctly. Oh, I did. Perfect. Thank you, Grimboy. And let's see what we have here. All right, resetting the tool. We have the NTUC, a custom homebrew monster from Grimboy. And it's supposed to be a CR 1/2, as I see down here. Let's see here. So we got a 1/2. It is a medium fiend with... where's the AC? 15 AC and 25 hit points. Okay. Medium fiend. Let's see here. Constitution. Constitution scores 13. So let's find 25 hit points. 5, 4. All right. I'm going to go with 5 because that's closer to the 25 hit points here for a medium fiend with a Constitution bonus of 13 Grimboy. And then after that, the Wisdom and Charisma probably don't matter for this monster, so I'm not going to bother with those for the time being. And let's see what we have for skills. Well, we have damage resistances to cold, fire, and lightning, so we will go ahead and throw that in for 2 times the hit points. And then we also have condition immunities and damage immunities. We have the damage immunities to poison, and considering it's 1 condition, we're not going to look at that. But already the NTUC has 2 times the hit points just from the resistances. After that, we also have senses and languages. We don't need to worry about that. Moving down, we don't appear to have any kind of monster traits, so we can skip right over that and go right into the monster workspace section, or the combat workspace. Okay, let's see here. The NTUC has a multi-attack of 2 attacks, one with its gore and one with its bite. And then it has charge, gore, and bite. Okay, so charge is a monster trait. Okay, that I will definitely add in. So taking a step back real quick, we have charge. And the charge is going to be, let's see here, moves 10 feet or more before attacking with a gore attack. It deals an additional 1d6 damage. And the target must make a strength check or be knocked back and prone. All right, let's go ahead and throw the 3 points of extra charge damage. So because of the charge, we're expecting this monster to charge every turn, Grimboy. That's the one thing about that, especially with centaurs. You put that in there, it's going to need the charge and unfortunately have to suffer attacks of opportunity to get the most out of it. But that's what is expected for this monster. And then let's see here. We also have gore and bite. So these are the extra attacks. Interesting. The gore and the bite run different 2 hits. We have strength at +2, dex at +0. And this should have a modifier or a proficiency bonus of 2 because it's a CR 1/2. So technically the gore should be a +4 as well. I'm going to go with the +4 for the time being. And let's take a look at the damages for the gore and the bite. So the gore is 1d8 +5 and 1d6 +3. Interesting. Where is the +5 for the bludgeoning damage for the gore coming from, Grimboy? Technically it should come, the rider damage here should come from the strength. So technically it should be 1d8 +2 for both the bite and the gore. Let me go with that, and we'll work that out here. So let's see. That's 4.5 plus 2 because of the strength bonus, and we're looking at 6.5 for the gore on average. The bite should also be a plus 2, so that will be 3.5 plus 2 for 5.5. And then the multi-attack. So we can do one of each as well as the gore attack here. So we're looking at 12. And then when we do that every round plus the charge, we are looking at a CR2. All right. Let's see here. Grimboy, to be honest, I'm not sure. This thing was made a while ago, so I'm not sure how knowledgeable I was when making it. Yeah, believe me, Grimboy, I did really... When I was making monsters back in like 2015, 2016, when I first got my hands on the book, they were all over the place as well. So I totally understand what you're saying here. And as it stands, your monster's a CR2. As we see here. Yes. So we have an OCR of 2, and the attack bonus is right where it should be, with plus 4 to hit, as I did here, and it has reasonably good defenses. But if you want this to be a CR 1/2, we're gonna have to really, really pull it back a bit. Would you like me to see about fixing this and bringing it down to a CR 1/2, or would you like to just call it a CR2 instead? Let's see here. What is the hit points on this? 54? Yeah, I mean, with resistances and then the charge and having to constantly charge further creatures, this works out really well. This is a really, really well thought out monster, fiend for what it needs to be done, or what it's supposed to be doing on the battlefield. I can see it just causing loads of chaos by hitting whatever is the first on the field and then switching its targets to like a caster in the back lines and just disrupting the party balance. I like that. That's cool. All right. Well, if we wanted to bring this down to a CR 1/2, we would have to do a lot of, let's see here. Well, I wouldn't say, let's see here. If we bring it down to 3 hit dice. All right, that's way too little. No, let's leave it at the 1/4. Let's leave it there for the time being with 3 hit dice, and let's tone down the damage a little bit here. Let's get rid of one of the multi-attacks and just say that it has the gore. Let's say the gore is the major thing here. If we do that, then we have a CR 1/2. Okay, Grimboy. I mean, I quickly found it by doing more or less what you were thinking. Imix, Prince of the Apocalypse. I do actually have Imix. I did work out. Imix is the wind one, right? I actually did work his video out for Princes of the Apocalypse. Let me pull up my studio here. Oh, Imix is the fire one. There you go. Yes. I could take another look at it just for the fun of it. All right, Grimboy, thank you so much for sharing your Entuck Fiend with us. That was a fun one. I like that. Yep, I have... Yeah, here you go. So here's Imix here, and then I also have the Rakshasa there. Really old video. Oh god, it's old. I do have a really powerful homebrew though, but I'm waiting until closer to Halloween for that one. It's called the King of Halloween. Cool. It sounds like a good one, Grimboy. I'd be curious to see that one as well. All right. So we have the Entuck worked out, and I would have to add some kind of a let's see here. I'll just make a note of that, of what I've gone over for the video. All right. Any other recommendations? Because I do have some other monsters here that came up from like my polls and whatnot. So we had like, what was it? The Nightwalker, which I don't know if I want to get into that one right now, or the Champion, Lizard Champion. I think that was, I believe that was Clawpaw that requested the Lizard Folk Champion, which was funny. That person is really into the Lizard Folk. All right. While people are looking up for some stuff, let's take a look at, let's take a look at the Champion just for the heck of it. And that is VGM. So let's pull up that book. Volo's Guide to Monsters. There we are. And we want the Champion. Champion is 212. Okay. Here we go for the Champion. Oh, what we got here? I got something. Rak Tolkesh. Oh god, is this another Rakshasa? Alright, let me pull those up instead. Alright, so who was first? Vandari was first, so we'll pull up that one from Eberron. Let's see here, Eberron. And then we will take a look at Verbig Striders. Verbig Strider. I'm sure I got close enough. Alright, so we're looking for Rak. Let's see how. Tolkesh. You know what? Let me do something else here quick. Right. Oop, let's see here. 303. Okay, that works. So let's see. 304 probably. Come on. Okay, do we have... Is that it? I don't even know. Anyways, I'll find the artwork for it later on. Oh, we got a big one here. All right. Strap in, everyone. This is going to take a bit. Rak Tolkesh. Huge Fiend. Ooh, boy. Yeah. I wish it was a Rakshasa. Oh, no. Okay. So, Rak Tolkesh. Huge Fiend. 23 natural armor or 25 versus ranged attacks. Okay, I would probably suggest an average of 24, considering groups are generally going to be split between the two. So for the time being, let's go with 24, just for the heck of it. And again, it's huge. Ooh, okay. It's a CR 28, kind of getting ahead of myself, with 33 D12 hit dice. I'm going to lurk for a bit. Cool, Grim Boy. Lurk away. And a constitution of 27. Let's see here. So that's the basic skills out of the way. Let's get into the skills area. We have, what is it, 4 saves of strength, con, wiz, and charisma. Alright, so that's that. I don't know. I'm going to pause here for a second. I don't know if my cousin is still in the chat room or not, but it's his birthday today. Mike. And also, what was his other... Valerian, I think he uses as well. So if my cousin Mike is still in chat, happy birthday, dude. Glad you could make it. I hope you had a good day. All right. And on top of that, let's see here. So back to the skills area. We have some skills. Don't care. Damage resistances doesn't matter at this level because it's a CR 28, but the damage immunities will help. And we have immunities to poison and then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. All right, so throw in the immunities to give it an extra 25% hit points. And that's it for the skills area. That really all that matters. Let's move into the monster trait section. So we have Deadly Critical, and Rak Tolkesh scores critical hits on 19s and 20s and rolls damage dice 3 times instead of twice. Okay, that's cool. If it had a higher critical rate, I would suggest this would be more than likely because, what was it? Something, let me see here. 19 or 20 is 10%. And when we have abilities on the side, like if we have attacks that recharge on a 5 or a 6, that's 33% of the time. And then something that recharges on a 6 only is what? 1 divided by 6, so that's 16%. So because the critical rate is only technically 10%, we may not see the damage from this, but if the numbers don't work out, I will come back to this deadly critical and possibly up 1 attack. All right, next we have innate spellcasting, and we have detect thoughts, dispel magic, spirit guardians, which is definitely going to be helpful, and banishing smite, blinding smite, and staggering smite. Those are all handy, but they take the bonus action to set up, so I'm not too worried about the smites right now. I'll come back to those. But the Spirit Guardian definitely is helpful, and having that at will, Spirit Guardians is going to be throwing in a lot of damage. So what level is Spirit Guardians at? I got level 2 here. Is that level 3 or is it level 1? Oh, it's level 3. All right. So we have 27 damage from Spirit Guardians. Let me go ahead and throw that in to the to this for the time being. I'm going to put that here, and it will be 27 times 2 because we use it at the base level. Yeah, only 10%, but you know, a 19 or a 20 can show up occasionally. So more than likely, 1 attack should be counted as a crit probably when calculating the CR. Let's see here. And I'm not too worried about anything else from innate spellcasting, so we're going to move on for the time being. After that, we have legendary resistances and magic resistance as always. So let's throw those in. We have 3 for the legendary resistances. And let's see here. Where are we going next? Whirlwind of Weapons. A magical aura of weapons surrounds Rock Tulkesh in a 10-foot radius. At the start of each of his turns, any other creature in the aura takes 14 force damage. Okay, so this is, again, we can just use Heated Body because it's an AoE, and that's what Heated Body does. And any creature in the aura. In theory, we would probably have 2 within a 10-foot radius, more than likely. So let's go with 2, and if I have to tone it back a little bit, I'll do that. But for the time being, this will just be 28 DPR for the Whirlwind of Weapons. After that, we can move into the action section and start working out all of its crazy attacks that it has. And we have a multi-attack of 4 weapon attacks. Okay. And the monster has, let's see here, spawned melee weapons and spawned range weapons. So the melee weapons are going to be hitting harder and hitting more often, so we'll go with that. Plus 17 to hit. That's insane. Plus 17. Good lord. Okay. And then how much is the spawn melee doing? We're looking at 28.5 damage there. The ranged weapons are going to be 17.5, although we probably won't be using that necessarily. And then the multi-attack will just be attack number 1 times 4. Oof, yikes. Oh, that is that monster. Okay. After that, we have change shape, but we don't really worry about the change shape. That's just for prior to it, before the people, your party figures out, like, oh, this is a Rock Tulkesh. It's going to destroy us. So let's take a look at legendary actions and see what we have there. Well, we have... let's see here. The attack, excuse me, I lost my train of thought. The attack for legendary action number 1, and Rock Tulkesh makes 1 weapon attack. So it'll just be the sword times 3 for 85 points of damage. And then legendary action 2, End Magic. Rock Tulkesh casts Dispel Magic. While not really doing any kind of damage, it probably would do effective damage. And what is that spell level? Let's see here. Oops. Dispel Magic is a, what is that? third level spell. It has lair actions too. Oh, fun. Let's see here. Where are the lair actions hiding? Huh. I believe you. I'm just not seeing it. Unless I overlooked it here. Alright. Well, for the time being, let's move on with that. So, Dispel Magic is a level 3 spell, and since it doesn't do actual damage, we could look at that as roughly an effective... what is it? Let me see here. Level 3 is effectively 30 average damage. So we could say, oh, wrong thing here, that it does Dispel Magic for 30 plus 1 attack, because it costs two actions to Dispel Magic, and then it could also use its last action to attack, dealing roughly effectively 58 points of damage. While that isn't exactly going to be helpful, we'll move on to Provoke Rage, its last one. Oh, yeah, no problem, Vandari. It's cool. I thought it had lair actions too. Something like this probably should have lair actions, to be honest. And give me 2 seconds. I gotta let my cat in. Come on, bud. You wanna come in? Here, come in this way. There you go. All right. Go inside. There you go. All right. Last one is Provoke Rage. And each creature within 60 feet must succeed a Wisdom saving throw or use its reaction to make a melee weapon attack against a random creature within range. All right. This attack is made with advantage and gains a +4 bonus. Provoke Rage is awesome. There's no way to guarantee how much damage that could be doing, and unfortunately I'm going to have to skip that for the time being because no idea. There's too many variables. We could say, you know, maybe it's an average of the two between lair action or legendary actions 1 and 2. I have no idea. Can't quite suggest what that might be. And last thing to figure out is, oh darn it, I hate it when I do that. Spirit Guardians, is that an action? Let's see here. Yes, more than likely it is. Ooh, come on. Yes, it takes an action to cast. So the question is, do we use Spirit Guardians or not? I don't think it's worth the throwing that up as an action necessarily. Vandari says the lore is this thing is the avatar of personification of war. Oh, cool. I have to definitely read up on that when I get a chance. That's been an added benefit of doing this stuff, is focusing on like one monster during the week and then getting a chance to actually look at its extra stuff here as well to see, you know, what D&D said about it. So that's cool. I have no idea about the lore about this monster. I haven't really looked through the books well enough. All right, let's work out damage here. So multi-attack, the 54 was coming from the Spirit Guardians possibly. So let's see here. If we do round 1, casting Spirit Guardians, and then also doing the highest lair action or legendary actions, we have that. And then afterwards, we still have legendary action, or we still have the Spirit Guardian going on. Then we can do a multi-attack, and we also do that. And that will be repeated for rounds 2 and 3, in theory. So, without really taking anything else into consideration for Provoke Rage or Deadly Criticals, we're looking at least a CR 29. More than likely, this should be higher. let's see here. What is the effective AC going at? 28. We have effective AC of 28, which means that is, what is that, 9 over? So we should actually have a shift of +4 from 27. So technically the DCR should top out at 31, and then 31 plus 28. So yeah, we're at like 30. We're at like 29 or 30 for the CR Rock Tulkesh. So there you go, Vandari. Already, without worrying about other spells or the Provoke Rage, this is at least a CR 29, probably more like a CR 30. Easily. And if not even higher because of the Deadly Critical coming into play. That is a monster. So it's only... Technically, it's only 1, maybe 2 CR steps higher, but still technically underrated, which is pretty standard. I'm going with that for now. We're getting close to 11 o'clock here. Oh, what do you know? Those are all the all of them. All right, so what was the numbers here? 30, probably 31. OCR was 28, I think. Yep, 28. 29 or 30 should be a 28. Underrated. Notes. I don't know. All right. Well, did we have anything else? You're welcome, Vandari. I enjoy, I know it takes a lot of time, but these bigger stat blocks are a lot of fun to go through. Did we have anything else? Did anyone else have another monster before? Oh yeah, we had the Verbig Strider. Where is that from? Let's take care of that real quick for Grimboy, and then we'll call it a night. Verbig Longstrider from, what is that? Icewind Dale. All right, page 311. So let's go to 312. And we have the Verbig Longstrider. Oh, giants. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. Oh, 1 second. My cat wants to come back in. Come on. Don't be a dope. Don't be. Go lay down. Have a seat on your bed. All right. And what do we got? CR5. Rock. Let me take a note of this real quick. If I didn't already do that. Hey, buddy. And what was that? Eberron. Okay, just do that for that. And then we have the Verbig Longstrider. Should be a 5. Icewind Dale. Just do that for the time being. Cool, we have 5. All right. Reset my tool. And let's take a look at the Verbig Longstrider. A large giant with 14 AC. Again, it's large, like I said before. And what we got for hit dice? 14 hit dice, Constitution of 16, and an expected CR of 5. All right. Now that we have that set, let's take a look at the skills area, and we see that there are 3 saving throws. So that'll put a +2 effective AC bonus there, and then nothing else for the giant. A lot of giants tend to have saving throws, which is fascinating. Skill senses, all right, don't worry about that. Next, we have innate spellcasting in the monster traits area. And we got, let's see here, Animal Messenger, Fog Cloud, Freedom of Movement, Pass Without Trace, Silence, and Water Walk. Lots of effective damage, but no actual damage so far. Let's skip over that for the time being and come back if we need to. Simple Weapon Wielder. A simple weapon deals 1 extra die of its damage when the Verbig hits with it, included in the attack. That's an interesting trait. I don't know why they had to go out. I mean, whatever. It's the same as brute, but okay. So really, we don't have anything to worry about in the trait section except for maybe the spell casting, but let's see what the actual actions do here for this monster. And we have a multi-attack of 2 melee attacks. And those melee attacks will be hitting with, let's see here, a spear for +7 or a sling. So it can only do 2 spear attacks or 1 sling. And in theory, because I probably couldn't even toss the spear twice. So it looks like it's just using the spear 2 times to hit with. So our spear does, let's see here, 14 piercing damage or 17 if used with ranged attacks. So yeah, we'll definitely use that. And we'll say 17.5. And because we're doing it 2 times, well, let's also throw in the sling here just for the heck of it. And that is 9.5. And also a stunning effect. Okay. Not as often to hit because of that +5, but the stunning effect probably will add in some kind of effective damage. I haven't quite figured that out yet, and I will have to go through and figure out effective damage per round for riders like that. But for the time being, let's just use the spear damage as melee and ×2 for that. So we have not that much. 2, not 3 times. And we have a total of 35 points of average damage for the long strider here. And that is pretty much all it's going to be doing every round of combat. So we'll just do that ×3. And yeah, it luckily works out to a CR5. That's cool. We have an OCR5 and a DCR4, so it's more or less a versatile giant and works out to be CR5 just like we see here in the printed area. Excellent. Nice and quick giant to work through. And yeah, nice fast way to finish off the night with a palate cleanser, so to say. There's our monster, so we've evaluated that. The DCR was 4, OCR 5, found a 5, even. And nothing for notes. Alright, cool. Alright, well that is the end. It's now 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and thank you all for joining me tonight. For the live stream, second live stream we've done on the Saturday night. This is a good one. I think it's a lot better on me. That way I don't have to rush home from work on Mondays unless I absolutely have to. But yeah, thank you all for joining. If you haven't noticed, in the description for those that are still here, I finally worked out a way that I am now sharing this tool with everyone. When you go to my videos, the links sections and the link that I have at the top of the page, usually the one that I pin, now has a new link, and that link sends you to a free version of the tool that I use here. And more than likely, it's going to be. I foresee some possible problems with it, but it's a free version. Everyone can use it. You can't make copies of it, but I'm going to try and work out some ways because it's in Google Sheets. So all you really need is a Google account to be able to use it, or possibly you can use it for free. But yeah, for those that are here and would like to use the tool, I now have it, a free version of it, which is still in the current state that I have for this one here. But, you know, just a little surprise there if you're still hanging out at the end of the stream. So, yeah, check the descriptions for the link for the tool if you'd like to, and bookmark it and use it to your, to your delight. And if you run into any issues with it, let me know. That way I can make some updates and change these, because it's still not technically at version 1 yet. I'm sure there's still a couple weird snags here and there that I need to find. But beyond that, I'm very confident that this is giving extremely accurate CRs. I mean, as we see here with all these monsters I've been going through, everything has been very accurate. Very accurate so far. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. If you've made it this far into the video, you've been awesome. And this is me, Andrew, I hope all of your encounters are even rated. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll catch you next time.